If Drupal isn't patched, this could really snowball into something very nasty.
Hey Tony, so I hear there's another vulnerability that was announced in a real popular content management system out there.
Yeah, so in the past few days, a bunch of new articles came out about Drupal CMS.
Drupal is a very, very popular content management system, similar but maybe a little bit more polished than WordPress, but there's a lot of deployment of it.
What happened here, and what the articles are stating, is a gentleman named Jasper Matson, who's a researcher and an auditor for Drupal websites, came across this flaw. It will allow anyone that goes to that website, if they know of the flaw, to access the entire website, public, private, all of its data, and they can modify it, they can delete it. However, since he's a researcher auditor, what he did is he went to Drupal themselves and reported it. And on March 28th, it looks like that is when they released the patch for this particular vulnerability. It covers 3 different versions of Drupal, 6, 7, and 8. What I would suggest anyone that's running Drupal is to go to the website and check it out themselves to make sure that if they're using it, they get patched and their versions are either impacted or not.
With remote code execution, in essence, they own your server, which means they literally have a whole range of different attacks that they can run against your server or against other servers, right? I mean, really, the sky's the limit when we're talking about remote code execution. There's
millions of websites that are built with Drupal as their back-end framework across the world. With this patch being out there, I do hope that people test it and get this thing out there right away before somebody out there decides to make the vulnerability public, and that would cause just a tremendous amount of problems globally.
Yeah, at some point, just like most of these patches that come out, somebody's going to diff the 2 patches. What's the old version look like? What's the new version look like? And they're going to figure out what is that exploit vector, and they're going to write an exploit for it. And then I would worry that you're going to get some bad actors out there compromising these websites, turning them into either bots for part of their botnet or back-end infrastructure as part of their botnet and things of that nature. So, I guess that's why we kind of do the show, is to let people know if you use Drupal, and it actually is used by lots of businesses, small to medium, not necessarily really large ones, but small to medium businesses, in a lot of cases, use Drupal.
Yeah, and this covers a wide range of versions. There's quite a few versions. It's been out for quite some time, so there's a bunch of different versions out there. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is that there is a good section of those versions right now that are actually vulnerable to this remote code execution bug.
They're actually calling this in like some of the forums and chat rooms, Drupalgeddon 2. There was a Drupalgeddon back in 2014 that had a similarly bad bug in Drupal that they were calling Drupalgeddon. This is Drupalgeddon 2. So definitely one to highly pay attention to if you are a Drupal user or administrator for a website.
Yeah, I just hope that later on in future episodes there won't be a new discussion about the impacts of botnet servers that are running Drupal that are doing wreaking its own havoc out there. So let's hope that doesn't happen, but you just never know with a flaw like this.
So if you're in management, what you would want to do is talk with your IT people to see if Drupal is deployed within your enterprise, especially in a public internet-facing footprint. That's where it would be most at risk.
So understanding that you actually have this first, and then second, obviously running the patch against it.